am Caroline Brown, and I'm the designer behind my own brand, Caroline Leary. And welcome to my studio. I'm going to show you guys around and tell you a little bit about my process. I'll start with how I got here. I am from South Carolina, if you couldn't tell from my accent. I was born on a farm in a little town called 96, and always since I was little, I always dressed up way too much. I lived on a farm with a whole bunch of boys, and I would always have on like ridiculous outfits that were sparkly and shiny. I say I'm a magpie because anything shiny I'm gonna like take with me and hoard it. So I design shiny things. I have been sewing since I was 7. My mom taught me how to sew, doing dance costumes. And from there, I just kind of used sewing as a passion, as an outlet. I graduated from college a long time ago. I'm older than a lot of people in fashion. I'm 40, but don't tell anybody. And I was a biomedical engineer for 10 years. I sold medical devices as a clinical engineer, and that's what brought me to Philadelphia. I made a bet with my manager that if he would get me an interview in New York, then I would interview in Philly, and he bet me that I would choose Philly, and I did. And I've been here ever since. I love this city. I am here to support it. It is full of life and arts and people, and I love that little grittiness that Philadelphia has. It's like if you make it here, you've earned it, and you're okay showing that off. So after 10 years of that, I woke up one day and had a midlife crisis and quit my job, and that was 2 months before COVID. And kind of little stir crazy in COVID, like everybody. And where I'm sitting right now used to be a kitchen, and there was a wall in front of me. And in COVID, I ripped up all the floors and threw the oven out that window and made my studio. I kind of made a little haven for my space. I built most of the stuff in here. My dad built this table for me when I first moved away from home, and I converted it so that it flips down and flips up so it can be a cutting table. So most of the stuff in the studio is really useful for you as a seamstress. Everything's kind of convertible. Everything has a story. These threads on the wall were a gift from my neighbor. She kind of shows up about once a week with a bag full of fabric or patterns, and it's great. I've got about 150 vintage patterns that I don't know what I'm going to do with, but I use them for reference, so it's fun. And my machine, it's a big part of any seamstress's or designer's life. My machine was a gift to my mom when I was born. So it's a 40-year-old machine that I won't trade anything for the world. It's an old Bernina, and it runs like a dream, and I love it so much. And my favorite thing in here, you can't see it, but it's behind. It's the table that my sewing machine is on. Somebody was throwing it away. Facebook Marketplace, best place in the world. And it's one of those standing desks, so I can like go lower and then I can go higher. It could be a cutting table. I can use a standing desk so you don't have the hunchback that most designers do. And the other thing in here is that I make all my own patterns. And so there's a whole wall of every pattern that I've ever made. And this is one that I'm working on for a client right now. I start with measurements and take everything apart and put it all back together and cut it out one at a time. And so this will be stored over there with a little label on it and a picture of her gown. I was watching Project Runway, and I saw Nancy Volpe Behringer, which if you don't know, she is from Philadelphia, and she's older like me. And I thought if she can do it, I can do it. So I applied to Drexel, which is down the street, and they let me in somehow. And since then, it's been like an awesome journey. I sew for the really, really confident, sort of loud woman who already is the attention in the room. And so now I make clothes for her that she feels comfortable in. So very inspired by the 1940s, but bringing it up to the sort of streetwear level that Philadelphia has. So it's a mix of like edgy femininity, but is just unashamed to be the center of attention in the room. My process. I love fabric. I'm really inspired, like I said, by shiny things. And so the way I design is I usually go to a store and find a fabric that I fall in love with. And from there, I let my brain just kind of churn and start having fun. And then I'll do a sketch of what I'm hoping to make. You can see This was the original sketch for this corset right here. So from like dream to reality, things change a lot, but that's kind of part of the fun in the process. And in this specific collection, I was really exploring the difference between structure and movement. I went from a really structured job, obviously, to a very creative one where I have no boundaries. And so this whole collection was focused on the transition in 1900 in Paris between really corseted figures to like the 1920s where there was no structure at all. So everything you can see, it's like really tight, really clean, and then really flowy and just like over the top, the glam of that period. This is one of my favorite pieces. It was on Harper's Bazaar, yay! And it's a corset. It looks great on anybody because it sucks in everything and it laces in the back. So you've got like a 6-inch gap on where you can wear it. This skirt here is actually a belt. So a lot of my pieces are transitional. So this whole black skirt will come off if you need to like dance or party. These pants are pretty cool because I try to conserve as much fabric as I can. And these are all one square of fabric, just wrapped all around each other. And the corner of the fabric made the waistband. So there's very little waste in this pair of pants, which I think is pretty awesome. And then the last thing I wanted to show y'all is like actually the process underneath any of my garments. It's a lot of structure. So I think the inside of a garment should be as beautiful as the outside. You should feel like awesome wearing it when you take it on or take it off. And this is just the base layer. On top of this, we'll have 3 more layers of fabric with the same pattern, and you would never ever see this. But this is what makes you feel confident as you put on one of my gowns. And then this is what makes everybody else see it. So thank you for coming into my studio. And my brand again is Caroline Leary, and I will see you on the runway. So Michaela is wearing my very wide leg white pants. They're almost a sneaky skirt. It's made out of one piece of fabric that's wrapped and folded around itself, so it's a very sustainable design. And the top is fully hand beaded, and it accentuates a woman's, I usually like to accentuate a woman's natural shape and show off some confidence. She's doing it well. So Rachel is wearing one of my high drama gowns. This is one that you're gonna stand out if you're on a red carpet or just at a party. This whole dress was made from donated fabric from Fab Scrap, and I tried to challenge myself and use a fabric that I don't normally work with, so I used a suiting material and gave it a little bit of glam. Angelica is wearing the cool, confident dress that I made that was inspired by my favorite designer, Cristobal Balenciaga, from his 1947 collection. And I love this dress because it is very sophisticated, but it has a really playful edge to it. So this is my over-the-top gown. Star is wearing what I really would consider to be my best red carpet gown. It's actually 3 pieces. It is a skirt and a bodice, and then the train, the panniers on the side, actually come off as part of a belt. So with this outfit, I think you'll stand out in any crowd, and Star looks like a star. I love black and white together. I just love the balance of structure against flowing, and Kayla's wearing a dress that I think really embodies that really playful, elegant spirit that a lot of my dresses encompass. The train on this gown is detachable, and so it's one that I think can really elevates anybody's style, but it really is one that you feel confident and beautiful in. And Kayla looks great. So I really like working with recycled fabrics, and these are an old Prada pattern from about 2006. And so when I saw this fabric, I just knew they had to be pants. And Maddie is killing it in a very tailored pant and just a little sleeve covered top. Silks and satins are normally what I work with. This particular material is actually from South Korea, and it's a traditional hanbok material, and it's got a lot of structure, and I really love it. So Una is wearing my absolute favorite fabric of all time. This is a silk wool, and I love working with corsets because I think it accentuates everyone's body. And I think it really makes a woman feel enclosed and confident and ready to show off. And she is absolutely the picture of what this dress should be worn to. Love it. I'm Caroline Brown, the designer behind Caroline Leary, and I dress strong, confident women who are ready to stand out in a crowd. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you again next time on Behind the Collection.